cannot believe I'm driving a WL like this. This is crazy to me. Looking out for, I basically made this car bulletproof as an LC one, but I'm not sure. So, feeling like an LC, and this actually feels just like an LC. Alright, today we're doing a test run on a car that I've been trying to build for, man, probably about 2 years. So, what's special about this one? For 2 years, I literally have not been able to really make a track car from a WL. And the reason why is because of the gearing. The 27 tooth is too tall for the track. 19 tooth is a little bit too heavy. It works, but it doesn't have the acceleration that you would want. I've never really purchased a 15 tooth. And the one that actually has been available for like the last 5 years, it's just never been drilled out for this size motor, is a 17 tooth. And the 17 tooth, now that Relarlo sells it, I actually just converted the ones that I had that are from the A959. I just drilled out the hole to accept the 3.5 shaft size instead of the 2.3 that it comes in. So this is running a 6200 kV 17 tooth. Running the Basher Queen. This is the rear, front, and top deck. Gives it a very, very good like rigidity throughout the. Also running the, I guess it would be like the same carbon fiber chassis that Relarlo uses. It's not real carbon fiber, but what I did notice on this one, the AMX12 has huge amounts of flex. This one does too, so it's not eliminating flex. It does give it a little bit of weight savings, but not as much as you would think. So I'm going to do some scale weights of all my different cars, but this one we're going to just give it a quick little zip around the track. I gave it one little drive just to make sure everything's all dialed in. So this is kind of like my let's see how this car does. I do know everything's set correctly. I'm not too sure how I feel about these shocks. These are brand new WL shocks, and WL shocks, they're just prone to leaking, and even though these are brand new, these are already leaking. So I don't know where my pen just went. Alright, I'm not sure where that little clip went. It's gone forever until nighttime, until I'm able to find everything. So here's the thing. This is kind of like the theme that I'm going with right now, and let me just give you a quick description of the build. So these are actually, this is going to be like my version of the CF1401, and that one is the carbon fiber chassis, adjustable motor mount, along with metal arms and metal hubs. Well, these aren't metal. What these are the LC hard arms along with LC hubs. I am using just the WL parts here. This is a LC CVD, WL shock, WL diff case, WL carbon fiber middle and shock towers, and WL drivetrain. So running the 17 tooth 6200. I don't have an idea of what theme I'm going to do on this car yet, so if anyone has an idea of a theme, paint job, give me a little comment so I can start working on something. Oh man, this one drives amazing. So this is how that 18, the WL18 almost drives, but because of the 2845 motor, it just has way too much torque. So what I'm probably going to do is do something similar on that one. Just do 2838 can size with a 17 tooth or 19 tooth pinion. Because that 27 tooth is just terrible. That's probably the worst pinion to run on these cars. Like on the 550 motor, cool, but anything else, unless you're running like a 30,000 can size motor, like the bigger size motor. But these cars they're not really designed for that. They're not designed for like that high speed like that. I think when you're hitting that limit of like, I think 40 is its max point of controllability, fun factor. Like, yeah, you can definitely make it go faster, but it's not really that fun to have a car that's just stupidly out of control because of speed. This thing goes, man. So one of the things I'm looking out for, I basically made this car bulletproof. But the thing I am looking out for is how long these CVDs will hold up. Even though they are an LC CVD, they still made, that one actually is an aftermarket LC CVD. So it's gonna hopefully be the same strength as an LC one, but I'm not sure. So because it doesn't have a slipper, it's got to give somewhere. And I think the CVDs is where it's gonna kind of suffer. So I just gonna need to see how long they last. But I think having the 17 tooth, it's going to allow it to not have so much torque driven into the wheels on landing. So I'm hoping that it should last a little bit longer. I'm running LC tires on here, which are kind of bald actually, and they're hooking up really well. They're almost too bald for an LC, but for this one, that's where my slippage is. So it's actually working out pretty well. This would be like running an LC without a slipper. That's what it feels like. And it looks like I'm missing screws already. So my wing screws are coming off. We'll put a couple of those in a minute. Let's see if we could just land properly where we don't touch the wing. I'm running the hobbywing 30 amp ESC. I think the fly color that I normally use on some of the WLs, I think those are actually probably going to be better suited for the LC. And I'm going to test that out because that one has a lot of download torque. And if I added more torque onto this motor right here, it would just want to wheelie. So having the WL, or not the WL, the hobbywing be a little bit more linear on its takeoff, it makes it feel like a proper yeah, it gives it a proper driving characteristic from like having just too much download torque. Man, this one. So I do have a set of Rolaro shocks that I'm going to try also on this one. I originally thought the Rolaro shocks might have been too stiff, but running a stiffer spring with a lighter oil on that setup actually kind of works out. So I'm going to give that a shot on this one. They're black and blue. I'm not sure how that's going to go with the gold. But one of the ideas for this one someone gave me was to make this one Ironman. And I have gold rims, and I put them on. I'm not sure how I feel about them, to be honest with you. The gold hubs look good, but the gold rims and the gold hubs, I'm not too sure. So what I could do, though, on the gold rims, I could actually run a red tire. So if I did an Ironman effect, it would actually kind of look pretty cool. So far, I am really impressed with this. I've never driven a WL around the track that was actually like feeling like an LC, and this actually feels just like an LC. So let's get this battery run down, check the CVDs. I'm running CVDs front and rear on the aftermarket LC CVDs. You can get like a package of 8 or 10. Really cheap. So if that's all I'm really replacing on this car, then I'm okay with that. The reason why is because the WL steel gears seem to be a little bit stronger than the LC ones, but LC did came out with a hardened one, so I'm assuming that's probably what the hardened one is for the LC. It's the same material as the WL hardened, not hardened, WL steel gears on the inside. Love the sound of this. Sounds really good. We're also going to check heat. I had to run a fan in it just because of running on the carpet in the garage. I was just testing it last night. The ESC and the motor were getting kind of hot, so I put a fan on the motor itself, and we're going to see if we can get either the motor or the ESC to hit its cutoff point to see if I need to add some more cooling. Don't have very many options in pinion sizes, so you only have the 15 and 17. I don't want to drop down 2 teeth. Considering the way it feels right now, it feels amazing. So you hear those tires just wanting to come unglued when I hit it. Almost. Ah, that wing. I don't want to break it. I don't think I'm going to. It's okay. So I'm just missing the 2 screws that hold it right here. I don't want to. That's a WL wing mount, so I know that's going to break. Probably should have put an LC one on there. Man, this thing goes. It's instant acceleration. So the reason why I didn't want to get the CF1401 is because of the metal arms. Like, they're sacrificing getting rid of the aluminum chassis and then adding metal arms. What that does, that kind of gives you more stability on off-road, but for track, you definitely don't want the metal arms like that. So the WL diffs, the steel ones, they're actually pretty reliable. I've run these on all my WLs in the past. The only difference is I never really knew how to set them up correctly, and last night was the first time I actually figured it out. You actually have to, and I'll probably make a video on how to do it, you actually have to shave down the center rod. There we go. You have to shave down the center rod in order to get the steel gears to mesh correctly, and it's pretty simple. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out, but I just assumed for some reason that you just put the gears on it and just run it until it meshes itself out, basically just grinding the metal down until it's, you know, forced to mesh. But obviously that's not the correct way of doing it. It did work, made everything mesh together, but when you go in and take a look at the gears afterwards, you could tell they've been chewed up to accommodate, and that's not what you're trying to get done. So I've never broke a gear on a WL. On the diff or the drive gear, they normally just wear down. They don't actually break, so that's a good thing. I cannot believe I'm driving a WL like this. This is crazy to me. I've been trying and trying and trying, and I could not get it. And I think what kind of gave me hope was the Relarlo. Not that I absolutely love that car, but it just gave me a hope that there's a possibility of, you know, a 114 size WL actually being able to compete with an LC, and this would be the setup to do it. Now I'm curious to know what it's going to be like to actually have grippy tires. If it's going to be too much grip, it might be. I could say right now this car is driving really well. Yeah, I can't see any difference in feel compared to an LC on this one. Just a different sound. acceleration is about the same, control is about the same. You know, obviously you have to set the right height to accommodate for carpet racing, but having all the adjustments set correctly, I'm gonna say I'm pretty impressed. I was worried about the air control factor, but seems like it just jumps flat, so that's good. I don't need to sit there and boost my get you off of there. All right, when this battery's done, we're also going to check temps, see what it's running at, see if we need to add some more cooling, add some more holes, add something. Oh, come on, I had that. Yeah, bald tires, that's crazy. Bald tires, driving like a champ. I'm curious to see what the top speed on this thing is. I'm guessing like in the 36, maybe even like almost closer to 40 possibly. It's in the higher 30s though for sure. I know the another setup I'm gonna run on this one, not this car, but I'm gonna make another one. I'm gonna build another one. Probably gonna do the same setup, all carbon fiber, but that one is going to be a 19 tooth with a 3800 kV, and that's one that I've run before. I just didn't like the way it felt, but I think it's because of the ESC that I was running. So we're gonna try that setup again and see how that feels around the track. That's it. All right, that's a good run. Get back over here. All right, good run. Let's check the temperature on everything. All right, so that's a good run so far. Let's check everything out. That's what we're looking at right here. It's a 35 amp AC, not a 30. Looks like the fan's still running, so let's go check temps. Highest temp is 130, 140 on the motor. That's good. ESC is 170. Let's see, what's the highest? There's one point of 180 right in the center. Actually, that's probably a bad spot to be. There we go. So 136, 160. All right, it's not killing the ESC, but it's not cutting off. So one thing I am noticing though right away is that on the metal chassis, that heat on the bottom is definitely not as hot as this one. I could be wrong though. About 123 in that area. Okay, so heat wise, actually not bad. And let's look at the setup one more time. It's the Hobbywing 35 amp ESC. It's a 6200 kV, 17 tooth. We're in the Larlo adjustable pinion or motor mount. This is a must to run the 17 tooth. I tried the blue WL motor mount, and the 17 tooth, I thought it actually fit. I tried it and I ended up stripping a spur because it just wasn't right. So the Larlo motor mount is the one that you have to get unless you modify that blue motor mount or the stock WL 19 tooth to accommodate the 17 tooth. Other than that, modified center rod in order to fit the steel gears in the rear. Basher Queen, this is the front and rear and center. It actually comes with the steering steering rod also. What's it called? The crank? I forgot what it's called, but it also comes this part right here. But I'm using that in a different vehicle. This one actually is the fake carbon fiber, but this also relieves all the little extra slop. So this would be a good upgrade for just a regular LC. Pretty good.